You wake up, walk into the bathroom, and look in the mirror. It is a quiet morning, but the frustration you feel is loud. You pinch the skin around your midsection and let out a sigh. You are trying. You really are. You restrict your calories, you skip the dessert, and you force yourself to do the workouts that the fitness magazines and morning talk shows keep telling you to do. Yet, that stubborn belly fat just will not budge. It feels like it is permanently attached to you. If this sounds familiar, I need you to know right now that you are not crazy, and you are definitely not lazy. You are not failing because of a lack of willpower. In fact, if you are over the age of 40 or 50, pushing yourself harder might be the exact reason your midsection is holding onto that fat for dear life. There is a very real biological reason why the rules of weight loss seem to change as we age. But here is what most people don't realize. The fitness industry is still giving you advice designed for 25-year-olds. Today, we are going to look closely at your workout routine. I am going to reveal 3 highly popular exercises that you need to stop doing immediately if your belly fat will not go away. These exercises are not just wasting your precious time and energy. They are actively working against your hormones, spiking your stress levels, and forcing your body to lock away abdominal fat. But what happens when you stop doing them? What happens next may shock you, because once you eliminate these 3 mistakes, you clear the path for your body to finally start burning fat the way it is supposed to. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you will have a clear, realistic, and science-backed plan to shrink your waistline, protect your heart, and regain your confidence without exhausting yourself. The hidden danger of belly fat. Before we uncover the 3 exercises you need to ban from your routine, we have to understand what we are actually fighting against. Not all fat on your body is created equal. The fat on your thighs or the back of your arms, known as subcutaneous fat, might be annoying when you are trying to fit into your favorite clothes, but it is relatively harmless. Belly fat is a completely different story. When your waistline expands, especially as you get older, it is often a sign of something called visceral fat. This is the deep fat that wraps around your vital organs, your liver, your stomach, your intestines. But here is the scary part. Visceral fat is not just extra padding. It does not just sit there. Research suggests that visceral fat acts like an active organ in your body. It is constantly pumping out inflammatory chemicals and hormones that disrupt your natural biology. This hidden fat is directly linked to an increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and a sluggish, unhappy liver. It is a major driving force behind insulin resistance, a condition where your cells stop listening to the hormone that controls your blood sugar. When you have dangerous visceral fat, your body enters a state of chronic alarm. Your immune system is constantly triggered, and when your body feels threatened or stressed, its number 1 priority is survival, not weight loss. This brings us to the core of the problem. If your body is already stressed out by the presence of abdominal fat, what do you think happens when you punish it with the wrong types of exercise? It panics. It holds onto the fat even tighter. Let's look at the first massive mistake you might be making on the floor of your living room right now. Stop doing endless crunches and sit-ups. The first exercise you need to stop if you want to lose belly fat is the traditional crunch, along with its cousin, the sit-up. For decades, we have been sold the idea of spot reduction. The theory goes like this. If you have fat on your stomach, you should exercise the muscles directly underneath that fat to burn it away. So, millions of people lie on their backs and painfully yank their necks forward, doing hundreds of crunches a day, hoping to chisel away the fat. The truth about spot reduction is simple. It is a biological myth. Studies indicate that exercising a specific muscle does absolutely nothing to burn the fat directly covering it. When you do a crunch, you are strengthening the abdominal muscles, yes, but those muscles are buried beneath the visceral fat and the subcutaneous fat. You can have the strongest stomach muscles in the world, but if they are covered by a layer of inflammation and fat, your waistline will not look or feel any different. But the real reason you need to stop doing crunches goes deeper than them just being ineffective. If you are over 40, the discs in your spine have naturally lost some of their hydration and elasticity, forcing your spine into repeated, aggressive forward flexion, which is exactly what a sit-up is, places a massive amount of destructive pressure on your lower back and your cervical spine. You are risking herniated discs, chronic lower back pain, and neck strain, all for an exercise that burns almost 0 calories. And think about the emotional toll. You spend 20 minutes doing agonizing core work, your neck aches, your back throbs, and weeks later, the belly fat is exactly the same. This creates a cycle of deep frustration and stress. And as we will soon discover, psychological stress is one of the primary triggers for your body to store more abdominal fat. You cannot outcrunch a hormonal imbalance. Stop the sit-ups. Save your spine. Stop the hours of steady-state chronic cardio. The second exercise you need to completely rethink is spending hours and hours doing moderate-intensity, steady-state cardio. I am talking about logging 45 minutes to an hour on the treadmill, the elliptical, or the stationary bike, day after day, at a moderate, sweating pace. Now, wait a minute. Hasn't your doctor always told you to do more cardio for your heart? Isn't running supposed to be the ultimate calorie burner? Cardiovascular health is incredibly important, but there is a massive difference between moving your body for heart health and using chronic cardio as a tool to burn belly fat. In fact, if you are struggling with a stubborn midsection, excessive cardio might be the exact trigger that is making you gain weight. Here is why. When you run on a treadmill for an hour, your body perceives that sustained physical exertion as a mild form of trauma. To deal with the physical stress of a long cardio session, your adrenal glands pump out a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's built-in alarm system. It is the fight-or-flight hormone. In short bursts, cortisol is incredibly helpful. It gives you the energy to escape danger. But when you elevate your cortisol levels day after day through chronic, exhausting cardio, your body gets confused. Your ancient biology does not know you are on a treadmill in an air-conditioned gym. It thinks you are running from a predator or traveling across a famine-stricken wasteland. It assumes you are in grave danger and that food might be scarce. What does the body do when it thinks it is in a survival crisis? It slows down your metabolism to conserve energy, and it actively stores fat. And guess where the body prefers to store fat under high-stress, high-cortisol conditions? Right directly in your belly. Many experts believe that forcing an aging, stressed-out body to endure hours of steady-state cardio is a recipe for adrenal fatigue and stubborn weight retention. You are burning calories in the moment, sure, but you are chemically instructing your body to replace every single ounce of fat the second you eat your next meal. Furthermore, prolonged cardio breaks down muscle tissue. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia. Muscle is the engine of your metabolism. It is highly active tissue that burns calories even when you are sitting on the couch. If you are running your muscle away on the elliptical machine, you are actively destroying your metabolism. If you leave the gym feeling depleted, exhausted, and absolutely starving, your cardio routine is working against you. Stop extreme high-intensity interval training, HIIT. This brings us to the third exercise that you need to be incredibly careful with, and for many of you, you need to stop it entirely. If you realize that slow, boring cardio isn't working, you might be tempted to swing to the opposite extreme. You join a high-intensity boot camp. You start doing jumping jacks, burpees, box jumps, and extreme high-intensity interval training, also known as HIIT. The fitness industry loves HIIT right now. It promises maximum fat burn in minimum time. You give 100% maximum effort for 30 seconds, gasp for air, and repeat. For a healthy 22-year-old athlete, HIIT can be effective. But if you are 55 years old, struggling with insulin resistance, carrying extra weight in your midsection, and dealing with the daily stress of modern life, extreme HIIT can be a disaster for your hormones. The surprising part is that extreme, high-impact interval training creates a massive spike in cortisol and adrenaline. Again, we are dealing with the stress response. When you push your heart rate to its absolute maximum, you flood your bloodstream with stress hormones. To fuel this explosive energy, your liver dumps stored glucose, sugar, directly into your blood. Your body expects you to use that sugar to fight for your life. But if you already suffer from insulin resistance, your cells are deaf to insulin. They cannot efficiently use that sugar. So, you have a massive amount of sugar and insulin circulating in your bloodstream after your workout. When insulin is high, the door to your fat cells is locked shut. You literally cannot burn fat. Instead, that excess circulating blood sugar gets converted right back into dangerous visceral fat. Not to mention the physical toll. High-impact exercises like burpees and jump squats are incredibly harsh on aging joints. If you tear a meniscus in your knee, or injure your rotator cuff because you were pushed too hard in a boot camp class, you will be entirely sidelined. You won't be able to exercise at all, leading to rapid weight gain and severe depression. You do not need to punish yourself to achieve a healthy metabolism. Exhaustion is not a badge of honor. Pain does not equal progress. The science of stubborn fat. Why you are stuck. If crunches don't work, long cardio slows your metabolism, and intense high HIIT spikes your stress hormones, you might be feeling incredibly discouraged right now. You might be asking, what in the world is actually happening inside my body? Let's take a deep breath and look at the underlying science. The secret to losing belly fat is not found in how many calories you can burn in an hour. It is found in understanding your hormones. Think of your body like a thermostat in a house. When the house gets too cold, the heat kicks on. When it gets too hot, the air conditioning turns on. Your body has a similar set point for your weight, controlled heavily by two main hormones, insulin and cortisol. Insulin is your fat storage hormone. Whenever you eat, especially carbohydrates or sugars, your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas releases insulin to act like a key, unlocking your cells to let the sugar in for energy. But over decades of eating the standard modern diet, high in processed foods, hidden sugars, and constant snacking, your cells have been bombarded with too much insulin. Eventually, they get tired. They change the locks. They become insulin resistant. Now, your pancreas has to pump out twice as much insulin just to get a normal amount of sugar into the cells. And here is the golden rule of weight loss that doctors rarely have time to explain. As long as insulin levels are high in your bloodstream, your body is physically incapable of burning stored body fat. You can run on a treadmill until you collapse, but if your insulin is high, your belly fat is locked away in a vault. Add cortisol to the mix. We discussed how wrong exercise spikes cortisol, but poor sleep, financial stress, relationship worries, and modern life also keep your cortisol elevated. High cortisol actively breaks down your lean muscle and tells your liver to release more sugar into the blood, which triggers more insulin. It is a vicious cycle. Exercising the wrong way is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. You are adding physical stress to an already hormonally stressed system. So, how do we fix it? How do we cool off the inflammation, lower the insulin, lower the cortisol, and gently coax the body into burning abdominal fat? What actually works? The movement shift. It is time to completely change your relationship with exercise. We are moving away from punishment and moving toward healing. To naturally burn belly fat and build a healthy lifestyle, you need to focus on two fundamental types of movement that support your hormones instead of destroying them. The first is shockingly simple: walking. I know it doesn't sound glamorous. It won't get you a million views on a fitness channel. But walking is the ultimate fat-burning, stress-reducing activity for the human body, especially as we age. When you go for a brisk, 30 to 45-minute walk, you are engaging your entire body in low-intensity, steady-state movement. This type of movement utilizes oxygen to burn fat for fuel, rather than relying on stored sugar. More importantly, walking actively lowers cortisol levels. It calms your nervous system. If you can walk outside in nature, breathing fresh air, and looking at the horizon, you are sending a powerful signal of safety to your brain. You are telling your body, we are not in danger. We are not starving. It is safe to release stored energy. Walking also increases something called NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. These are the calories you burn just living your life: fidgeting, standing up, cleaning the house, walking the dog. Increasing your daily step count is far more effective for long-term weight loss than a brutal 30-minute gym session followed by sitting at a desk for 9 hours. The second type of movement you must embrace is mindful resistance training. Remember how we talked about muscle being the engine of your metabolism? If you want to speed up a slow metabolism, you need to put a bigger engine in the car. You do this by lifting weights or doing bodyweight exercises 2 to 3 times a week. But you are not doing it like a manic bodybuilder. You are doing it with slow, controlled movements. Focus on compound exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once. Squats to a chair, modified push-ups, pulling resistance bands, or lifting moderate dumbbells. These exercises build lean muscle tissue. As you add a little bit of muscle to your frame, a beautiful thing happens to your insulin resistance. Muscle tissue is the largest consumer of sugar in the human body. When your muscles are active and strong, they act like a sponge, soaking up excess blood sugar from your bloodstream without needing massive amounts of insulin. By building muscle, you are naturally healing your insulin response. And as your insulin levels drop, the vault door opens, and your body can finally start burning abdominal fat. You can walk every day and lift weights twice a week, but if you don't address the other hours of the day, you will still struggle. Exercise is only a small fraction of the equation. There is one mistake almost everyone makes when trying to shrink their waistline. They ignore their sleep. If you are getting 5 or 6 hours of broken, restless sleep every night, your body is in a state of severe physiological stress. Sleep deprivation causes cortisol to skyrocket the next morning. Furthermore, poor sleep completely disrupts your hunger hormones. It lowers leptin, the hormone that tells you that you are full, and it raises ghrelin, the hormone that screams at you to eat carbohydrates. Have you ever noticed that after a terrible night of sleep, you don't crave broccoli and chicken? You crave bagels, donuts, and massive cups of sugary coffee. That is your biology crying out for quick energy to survive the exhaustion. If you want to lose belly fat, you must prioritize 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Make your bedroom dark and cool. Turn off your phone and the television an hour before bed. The blue light from screens tricks your brain into thinking it is high noon, preventing the release of melatonin, your natural sleep hormone. Protecting your sleep is just as important, if not more important, than your exercise routine. Hydration is another silent factor. As we age, our natural sense of thirst diminishes. Many adults over 50 are walking around in a state of chronic, mild dehydration. Your liver and your kidneys need abundant water to process toxins and metabolize fat. If you are dehydrated, your metabolism slows to a crawl to conserve resources. Aim to drink a large glass of water first thing in the morning to wake up your internal organs. We cannot talk about shrinking your waistline without talking about what you put on your plate. You cannot outwalk a bad diet. Remember, our primary goal is to lower insulin levels so your body can access stored fat. To do this, we must look at the foods that force insulin to spike out of control. The biggest culprit hiding in your kitchen right now is refined carbohydrates. I am talking about white bread, pasta, pastries, crackers, and the vast majority of breakfast cereals. When you eat a bagel, the refining process has stripped away all the natural fiber. Your digestive system breaks that bagel down into pure sugar almost instantly. It hits your bloodstream like a tidal wave, causing a massive insulin spike. Then, 2 hours later, your blood sugar crashes, leaving you shaking, irritable, and craving another snack. This roller coaster of blood sugar is what creates dangerous visceral fat. You also need to be incredibly careful with liquid calories. Fruit juices, sweet teas, sodas, and fancy coffee drinks are devastating to a healthy metabolism. When you drink sugar, it bypasses the normal digestive delays and slams directly into your liver. Your liver cannot handle that much fructose all at once, so it immediately converts the excess sugar into triglycerides, fat, and stores it right around your midsection, leading to a fatty liver. Even foods labeled as healthy or low fat are often traps. When food manufacturers remove fat from yogurt or salad dressing, it tastes like cardboard. To make it edible, they pump it full of hidden sugars. Always read the ingredient labels. If sugar, high fructose corn syrup, or any word ending in O's is near the top of the list, put it back on the shelf. So, what should you eat? How do you nourish your body so it feels safe enough to let go of the weight? You need to focus on foods that keep your blood sugar stable and your insulin low. First, prioritize high-quality protein at every single meal. Protein is the building block of life. It provides the raw materials your body needs to maintain that precious muscle mass. But more importantly, for weight loss, protein is incredibly satiating. It keeps you feeling full for hours. When you eat a meal centered around eggs, fish, poultry, or grass-fed beef, your blood sugar barely moves. Second, you must stop fearing healthy fats. For decades, we were told that eating fat makes you fat. The evidence shows that this was a terrible misunderstanding. Healthy fats, like those found in avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and wild-caught salmon, do not trigger an insulin response. They provide slow, steady, clean energy for your brain and your body. Adding a little olive oil to your salad helps you absorb the nutrients from the vegetables and keeps hunger locked away. Third, load up on fiber from above-ground vegetables. Broccoli, spinach, cauliflower, zucchini, and asparagus are packed with vitamins, minerals, and massive amounts of dietary fiber. Fiber slows down the digestion process. If you eat carbohydrates alongside a generous portion of fiber, the sugar enters your bloodstream as a slow, manageable trickle rather than a massive wave. Your meals should be simple: a good source of protein, a generous serving of fibrous vegetables, and a healthy portion of natural fat. This combination stabilizes your blood sugar, heals insulin resistance, and creates the perfect environment for your body to naturally burn fat. I have given you a lot of information today. It can feel overwhelming to realize that much of what you have been taught about fitness is actually holding you back. But I want you to feel hopeful. You have the power to change this. Your body is incredibly resilient, and it wants to heal. It just needs the right instructions. Let's simplify this into a practical action plan. What should you do starting tomorrow morning? First, cancel the extreme workouts. Stop doing the painful sit-ups that hurt your neck. Step off the treadmill if you have been grinding away for hours. Cancel the boot camp class that leaves you limping for days. Give yourself permission to stop punishing your body. Second, commit to a daily walk. Make it non-negotiable. Put on a comfortable pair of shoes, step outside, and walk for 30 minutes at a pace where you could comfortably hold a conversation with a friend. This is your foundation for a healthy metabolism and a calm nervous system. Third, 2 days a week, do 15 to 20 minutes of gentle resistance training. Lift something heavy. Do wall push-ups. Do bodyweight squats. Remind your muscles that they are needed. Fourth, look at your breakfast. If you are starting your day with toast and orange juice, you are setting yourself up for a day of high insulin and fat storage. Swap it out for 2 scrambled eggs and a slice of avocado. Start your day with protein and fat to keep your blood sugar perfectly flat. Finally, be patient with yourself. You did not put on this belly fat in a week, and you are not going to lose it in a week. Healing insulin resistance and reversing a slow metabolism takes time. But if you are consistent, you will begin to notice changes. You will sleep better. Your energy won't crash in the afternoon. Your clothes will start to fit differently. The scale might not move immediately, but your body composition will shift as the dangerous visceral fat melts away. Let's do a quick recap to make sure you have the exact tools you need. The belly fat that refuses to leave is often visceral fat, an active tissue that drives inflammation and disease. Pushing harder with the wrong exercises only spikes your stress hormone, cortisol, and worsens your body's insulin resistance, locking the fat in place. You need to completely stop doing crunches and sit-ups that damage your spine while failing to spot-reduce fat. You need to stop doing hours of chronic, steady-state cardio that exhausts your adrenals and slows your metabolism. And if you are over 40, you need to be incredibly careful with extreme, high-impact, high-foot workouts that cause dangerous spikes in blood sugar and risk joint injury. Instead, embrace the power of walking to lower stress and burn fat for fuel. Incorporate mindful resistance training to build the lean muscle that acts as your metabolic engine. Protect your sleep like your life depends on it, because it does. And shift your diet away from refined carbohydrates and liquid sugars, focusing instead on high-quality protein, healthy fats, and fibrous vegetables to keep your insulin levels low. You are entirely capable of taking control of your health. It is never too late to reverse course. Protect your heart and feel truly comfortable in your own skin again. You don't need a miracle pill, and you don't need to starve yourself. You just need to work with your biology instead of fighting against it. If this video opened your eyes and helped you understand your body a little better, please do me a favor. Hit the like button right now so this information can reach more people who are struggling with the exact same frustration. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into naturally healing your body and living a vibrant life. Leave a comment below and tell me, which of these 3 exercises are you going to stop doing today? I love reading your commitments and hearing your stories. Share this video with a friend or a loved one who might be exhausting themselves in the gym without seeing results. You could entirely change their approach to health. Remember, true health is not about how much you can endure. It is about how well you can nourish and care for the body you have. Be kind to yourself today. Take that 30-minute walk, and I will see you in the next video.